Good evening and welcome to another episode of What's Happening, What's Up. This show is pretty much geared for people in the community that are doing things, making some sort of impact in the community. Tonight on my show, I'm very honored to have Mr. Paul and Janette Peak.
Thank you, Frank.
They're pretty much big emphasis and strong examples in my life. And I'm involved, and they are pretty much spearheads of a ministry called Overcomers. And I brought them on my show tonight just to let the people, because a lot of people know about it, and a lot of people don't know about it. But I brought them on my show tonight to, give people an insight on what's happening in the community and what type of impact they're making in the community. So on that note, I want to ask Mr. Paul Peak and Ms. Peak, what inspired you guys to get this ministry going and what all it entails? And
Well, I'll begin. I'm involved in it because I'm one of the recovering people. I'm coming up on 8 years of sobriety. We don't really talk a lot about sobriety and sober dates and things like that, but we want to put more emphasis on a lifestyle change where we learn to surrender our lives over to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Overcomers is an outreach ministry of Abundant Faith Christian Center. It's been going on for many years. We got involved in it approximately 4 years ago. We were asked to, on several occasions, maybe take some leadership role in the ministry, and felt like God was still doing some work in my own life that needed perfected before I began to pour into other people's lives. But about 4 years ago, Janette and I decided that we were willing to take on more responsibility with it. The ministry has grown. We were meeting with about 6 people in one of the upper rooms at the church, and it's grown into a ministry of anywhere from 40 to 60 people that meet on every Friday night at 6:30 to 8:30. We come together. We have a time of sharing meals together and fellowship. Then we'll break off, go upstairs to have a few minutes of praise and worship, and we found out that ministry or music really ministers to the souls of the hurting people that we deal with. And I know in my own life, music was something that really soothed the hurts that I was experiencing from the lifestyle of drug addiction. And I found myself every waking moment trying to be at the church, whether they were practicing, whether kids choir was practicing or the adult choir, but something about the praise and worship being offered up really touched my heart. So we try to offer a brief time that we can come together and set aside everything from the week and just offer up songs of praise and worship to the Lord. Then we break off into small groups. We try to minister a little bit from the Word, pray with people, whatever the need, and sometimes we just sit around and talk. So that's a brief synopsis of the Overcomer Ministry. The reason why we're here tonight is we're having our 3rd annual picnic, Overcomers Picnic, and the last 2 years we've met at Enos Park. This year there was complications up there, so we moved it to the JC's Park. It'll be August 23rd, starting at 1:30 and going until approximately 3:30. And what time? 1 o'clock. Oh, excuse me. That's why I have my wife here. This is my helpmate, and she helps me constantly. But we are beginning at 1 o'clock and going until what time?
4 o'clock.
Okay. Well, you want to tell them a little bit about it?
yeah, give us a little more insight.
Sure. As Paul mentioned, this is our 3rd annual Overcomers Picnic, and the first 2 years has been at Enos Park, and this year is going to be at JC's Park. We're going to have live music, we're going to have clowns, games for the kids, free giveaways, and we're just going to have a good time of fun and fellowship. one of the main purposes of having this picnic is to let the community know that even though people have backgrounds, recovery backgrounds specifically, that they can have a good time and not have to drink or drug and do some very damaging things to their souls, and just come together and fellowship. And we're going to have lots of food and just, you know, a time of where we can just be who we are, and to know that we're loved by God and that we're accepted by you know, people in the community as well. So we're very excited about the picnic, and we're just hoping that everyone would join in and come out and fellowship with us.
I'll be there, definitely. And we want to invite each and every one of y'all to come out. But I want y'all to give me a little bit more, you know, I don't mean to hit y'all with a bunch of questions, but I want y'all to give me a, you know, what all do you get from this Overcomers Ministry? I mean, how does it fulfill you as far as spiritually, mentally? I know it can be exhausting, you know, but I mean, give the people a little more insight on that. You know.
Well, we love what we do. We believe that God called us to do this about 4 years ago, and it's been going on every Friday night for 4 years. And so we minister to various people. We have people that come from the Triangle Center, from Salvation Army. We pick up people from Helping Hands. We have a van ministry that also helps us with bringing people into the Overcomers meetings. And we love what we do. We know that there are people out there who have maybe used drugs and alcohol as a way to mask some other hurts and rejections. They've maybe had some bad relationships or whatever. Maybe growing up, you know, they've experienced some things such as rape and molestation. And, you know, we want to be able to minister to the whole body. We know that people struggle with their weight. They struggle with, you know, their identity. There's so many things that, you know, we're trying to overcome in life, that the reason why we do what we do is because we know that there's a solution, and we believe that Jesus Christ and Him crucified is the reason why. So we're not exactly like some of the regular 12-step programs, but we do have a ministry called Celebrate Recovery that also is part of what we do, and that's from Rick Warren's ministry, where he wrote the book, The Purpose-Driven Life. So we follow a lot of tools from that particular ministry as well. And, you know, again, on Friday nights, it's just full of energy. And when the people come, you know, they just enjoy a safe place of refuge. And so we really believe that it's helping people. Sometimes we might not see them, you know, but for maybe 4 or 5 weeks, depending on the time in which they stay at maybe one of the centers. But we know that during that time period, they're going to be touched and their lives are going to be changed.
You know, I myself, I'm involved in it with you guys, and I have seen some of the people, and I know that it has an impact, and that you guys are doing something that's, I mean, you got to be called in order to do this. I mean, I understand, because I'm there with you guys, and I realize and I know the people, and I'm also one of them, you know, that, you know, I need that too. I need it, you know.
One thing that, you know, in my own life, there was a man that God had brought into my life that was by my side. I didn't get it right the first time. I didn't get it right the second time. I went through several treatment programs and desired change in my life, but didn't really know how to allow God to change my life, my circumstances, people, places, and things we always talk about. But, you know, because this man, Nick, he didn't give up on me, so God's given us a spirit to be steadfast to the people, because sometimes they don't always get it right either. And, you know, if God didn't give up on me, then we certainly can't give up on the next one coming along. One thing that we do really emphasize is we believe in deliverance. We believe that Jesus Christ did something on the cross that would allow deliverance to take place in our life, and then we encourage people to walk in that deliverance that God has given them it becomes a matter of choice whether we choose to maintain our deliverance or make a choice to go back to what God's delivered us from. But He's faithful and just to do His part, and we've seen it many a time that there's people that come that you would never have any idea that they ever suffered from an addiction at one time in their life. But as God changes their lives and they become new creations in Christ Jesus, and old things have passed away. And we see that on a weekly basis. And that's what really keeps us coming back is you see someone, you think, boy, they're never going to get it right. And it looks like they're just struggling. And 6 months later, you know, you think they ought to be the one doing the preaching. Mm-hmm. So those are the things that give us hope and give us strength to continue doing what God's called us to do. And we want to emphasize that it's nothing about Paul and Janette, or not even about a church, but it's about the God that we serve, and Him alone is able to change lives, and we want to make sure He gets all the glory. When we come together on Friday nights, it's all about Him.
And I gotta say, it's all about Him. I'm there every Friday night with y'all, so I know. I want to remind each and every one of y'all that the Overcomer Picnic this is our 3rd annual Overcomers Picnic, be held at the J.C.'s Park on the 23rd of this month. So on behalf of Paul and Janette, can I say, AFCC and the Overcomers, we want to invite each and every one of y'all out.
Absolutely.
Don't cost you nothing. Bring your lawn chairs and blankets. There'll be plenty of food, plenty of fun, music, and everything. And on that note, we'll be talking to you. Peace. Okay, we're back on my show. It's What's Happening, What's Up. Like I said, this show is geared for people in the community that are doing things, making some sort of impact. My guest that I have here now is running for state's attorney. Mr. Ron Stratt, and it's go to bat, Stratt. That's very catchy. And on that note, why should we go to bat for Stratt?
Well, you should go to bat for Stratt because what I want to do once I'm elected state's attorney is to restore integrity to the office. I think the people of Sangamon County need to know that they can trust the state's attorney to do the right thing. So that is why they should go to bat for Stratt.
Okay. On that note, can you give us a little bio or background of where Stratt came from and why you running?
Well, I enlisted in the Marine Corps, the United States Marine Corps, when I was 20. I served 5 years in the Marine Corps. Most of it was in Japan. And while I was serving in the Marine Corps, I developed a sense of dedication and a lot of integrity myself. Once I was honorably discharged from the Marine Corps, then I completed all my schooling and I went to law school. And after I graduated law school, I was in the state's attorney's office. I was in the attorney general's office. I was a legal counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee. And then I moved to my current position, which is Associate General Counsel at the Illinois Education Association, and we represent public school employees.
So, what type of change do you plan on making as far as the judicial system, as far as African Americans here in Sangamon County?
Well, like I said, I want to restore integrity to the office, and I want to bring equity into the courtroom. It's just been a long-standing character of myself that everybody should be treated fairly. Everybody should be treated equally. If you and I both get speeding tickets, we should both go to court and we should both get the same penalty. And that doesn't always seem to be the case. Some people are not prosecuted at all, and some people are given a different sentence. And to me, that's just not fair. It's not really an issue of whether you're black or you're white or you're rich or you're poor or you live on the east side or the west side or the south or the north. It's really about fairness and equity. And in my judgment, I think everybody should be treated the same.
Well, in your administration, how would you go about changing these situations and circumstances?
Well, I think the first thing to do is to make sure that the office is held accountable to the public. We will set aside days of the week where the public can come in and tell us what's on their mind and what complaints they have. It might be a situation where a citizen had an event happen and the police took a report, and then they might come in, the citizen could come into the office and we could review the police report with them to see if there's anything that we could do. I think having the office open and accountable to the public is the first thing.
Okay. You're running Democrat, right?
Yes.
And right now you're trying to get in touch with the African American community. Okay. If and when did you obtain your office? What are some of the steps that you would take to stay in contact with individuals? Are you planning on putting individuals like for example court-appointed lawyers? Are you planning on bringing individuals in that are used to dealing with people in the African American community?
Well, there's two things there. One is, what am I going to continue to do to reach out to all communities?
Exactly.
Well, a lot of communities within Sangamon County have a neighborhood association. And what I'm doing now is reaching out to all of the neighborhood associations to find out, what's going on in their community. What can the state's attorney do to better their community? Once I'm elected, that'll be something that I'll continue. I enjoy meeting people. If the neighborhood association is going to take the time to put the association together and to meet on a regular basis and to do something for their community, I would love to be a part of that. So continuing to reach out to the neighborhood associations is the primary goal.
Okay, and that, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying, what are you gonna, what type of, are you gonna have any African Americans on your staff that are in touch with the community? Because I know yourself, you probably be busy doing other things that you can sometimes lose touch of exactly what's happening in the community, you know what I mean?
Well, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to lose touch with the community, but if the assistant state's attorneys that are in the office don't know what's going on in the community, they will under my administration. Currently, there are assistant state's attorneys that are employed there, and what I would do is to make sure that we have a staff of attorneys that shares my passion for community involvement and shares my vision and shares my view about equality and treating people fairly. And once we assemble a staff like that, I think it'll be inherent upon them to continue to reach out to different community organizations.
Okay, that sounds good. But what I'm trying to narrow it down to, how many black people are you gonna put in position that are in the community, that know the community? Because sometimes by you being in the office, you're not gonna be able to be out there,
Mm-hmm.
like on the battlegrounds,
Mm-hmm.
and like you were saying, it's all about accountability,
Right.
So.
Well, I hadn't really thought about that. That's a good question, Frank. When there's a vacancy in the office, either for administrative staff or for attorneys, the first thing to look at is qualifications.
Exactly.
One of the problems that I have now, it seems like people who are connected are getting benefits that people who are not connected get.
Exactly.
So when there's a vacancy in the office, one of the first things I'm going to look at is their qualifications. If they're qualified, then they'll be on the short list to fill a vacancy. if it's an African-American candidate and they know the community or they're from Springfield, and like I said, they share my vision and can do the job, they'll do well.
That's good. And you know we're going to hold you accountable.
You can hold me accountable. And, when I was in the state's attorney's office, I worked under a state's attorney that was very open to the public. And so I having that exposure, that's, something that I'll do when I'm elected state's attorney. There's no reason why the state's attorney can't meet with people. If you want to call me and meet me and discuss what's going on in the community, more than happy to do that with you.
Well, another issue that I wanted to bring up is the gun rate, crimes with, gun usage.
Mhm.
Now, I mean, I pulled up some stats from Google dealing with Sangamon County and, the racial imbalance as far as, blacks being prosecuted and being locked up more than whites. And some of them are hard crimes and some of them aren't, but like the gun ratio, what would you do to combat some of the guns that are being trickled out into the community?
As far as, I'm not
Crimes
sure.
for hard
What would
crimes.
we do with the actual guns?
No, to prevent them.
Well, part of the judicial system is to impose sentences on criminal conduct that should send a message to the criminal, him or herself, and to others to send a message that if you engage in this type of crime, this is the kind of punishment that you're going to get. So what we really need to do to reduce crime is to send a strong message that people are going to be prosecuted for violent crime, and hopefully that'll send a message to others that, we're going to be very firm but very fair in how we prosecute violent crime.
That sounds good. Well, I wanted to alert each and every one of y'all that Mr. Ron Strapp will be having a fundraiser, and where we're located.
We're going to have that at Max Lounge and Sports Bar. It's August 28th at 5:30. It's at 13th and Cook.
Okay. And we'd like for y'all to come out to meet him. Maybe I might not have asked some questions that, you had issues or wanted to talk about. So come out, meet and greet, and I'll also have him back on my show. I want to thank you for coming out, and I'm going to have you back, Mr. Ron Strapp.
Thank you.
Go to bat for Strapp. And on that note, we'll see you. Thanks for tuning in.
That was great.